an ordinary Tuesday evening. You just got off work. The exhaustion of the day resting heavily on your shoulders. You park your car and walk through the giant automatic doors of that high-end supermarket. Inside, the temperature is perfect. Bright fluorescent lights illuminate every corner, and soft background music is playing. Wandering through the aisles, you arrive at the produce section, completely stripped of nature's wild and unpredictable chaos, washed, cleaned, and flawlessly arranged in transparent plastic packages. You pick up a pack of mushrooms and toss it into your basket. You're going to make a delicious sauté for dinner, and as you do this, your pulse doesn't quicken for even a millisecond. There is not the slightest doubt or hesitation inside you. The thought that the mushroom you just threw into your basket could paralyze you in a few hours, cause your organs to fail, or kill you in agonizing pain doesn't even cross your mind. But why are you so sure? This planet we live on is a massive chemical battlefield, and plants and mushrooms are the quietest, most deadly soldiers of this war. Unable to run away, these organisms spent millions of years evolving flawless poisons, neurotoxins, and cell-destroying enzymes just to protect themselves. Today, there are tens of thousands of different mushroom species on Earth. Some look so incredibly similar that, when placed side by side, even a master botanist struggles to tell them apart with the naked eye. While one adds a fantastic flavor to your sauté, the other, possessing the exact same color and shape, can send you straight to the morgue. So, let's ask that dark and unsettling question. For you to be able to blindly and safely buy that mushroom from that brightly lit aisle today and feed it to your children, how many people in the past had to die, vomiting blood, their organs failing, writhing in absolute despair? Let's step off the sterile floor of that supermarket and rewind time hundreds of thousands of years. Let's return to those ruthless, dark forests where there were no modern laboratories, toxicology reports, microscopes, or poison control centers. We are in the Pleistocene epoch. You are at the end of a freezing, endless winter that has lasted for months. Nature has practically fallen into a death sleep. The rivers are frozen over, and the game animals migrated south long ago. Everyone in your tribe is on the brink of starving to death. For weeks, nothing but tree bark and a few bitter roots have entered your stomach. When you look at the camp, you see the children's eyes sunken in, and the elders sitting by the fire, silently waiting for death. Hunger is no longer just a feeling, it has turned into a physical monster, gnawing at your stomach, your muscles, and your mind. And then, deep in the forest, at the base of a rotting, giant oak tree, you see them, a colony of mushrooms you have never seen before, fleshy, plump, moist, and looking full of life. They smell of earth and high protein. To your eyes, they look like an absolute miracle of salvation. But what if they are poisonous? Your modern analytical logic instantly whispers that practical solution to you. It's simple. Feed it to an animal and watch what happens. Exceptionally clever, right? Our ancestors followed this exact same logic. They didn't pick the mushrooms. They hid in the shadows of the forest and waited. Shortly after, a wild rabbit, a squirrel, or a deer approached. The animal sniffed the mushroom, eagerly tore off large chunks, and happily swallowed them. Our ancestors watched the animal for hours. The animal didn't drop dead. It didn't get paralyzed. No foam came from its mouth. It safely disappeared into the depths of the forest. Our ancestor took a deep breath, smiled. He had found the miracle. He gathered the mushrooms and ran back to the camp. Fires were lit, the mushrooms were roasted, and for the first time in weeks, the entire tribe filled their stomachs and peacefully fell asleep. And the next day, when the sun rose, the entire tribe's camp had turned into a massive graveyard. Why? Because evolution had played an unpredictable, horrific, and cruel joke on them. Many herbivores in nature possess a millions of years old evolutionary immunity against complex toxins that would kill a human in minutes. Take, for example, the ruthless mushroom we know today as the death cap, responsible for the vast majority of mushroom-related deaths worldwide. While even a quarter of a slice is completely fatal to a human, a rabbit or a deer can happily digest that same mushroom without any harm, thanks to special enzymes in their stomachs. So, using animals as test subjects was not a scientific survival method. It was a complete evolutionary blind spot, a deadly game of Russian roulette. Well, then they shouldn't risk the tribe, you might say. They should just eat a tiny piece and wait. If you eat spoiled meat, your stomach immediately turns. If you swallow a poisonous fruit, your throat instantly swells and you vomit. Your body instantly tells you, this is poisonous, get it out. Making the connection is very easy, but nature doesn't always play so fairly. Some deadly mushrooms in the forest operate like literal sneaky biological assassins. These poisons, called amatoxins, don't burn your tongue. They taste fantastic. They don't make you nauseous. They don't leave a bitter taste in your mouth. You eat the mushroom. You think it's delicious. You fall asleep feeling no pain, with a full stomach, and the joy of having survived. However, while you are dreaming, those silent assassins have slipped into your bloodstream, invaded your liver cells, and completely halted your intracellular protein synthesis. While all hell is breaking loose inside, there is zero sign of it on the outside. The first horrific cramps begin exactly 24 hours later, but by the time that moment arrives, the poison has already irreversibly melted your internal organs. After such a long delay, it was nearly impossible for a person getting sick and vomiting blood to connect their condition to that delicious plant they ate a whole day ago. Because the cause and effect chain was broken, they would blame the illness on an evil spirit in the forest, the river water they drank, or the curse of the gods. To realize that the damn mushroom was the actual killer, hundreds of people from different tribes had to make the exact same mistake, over and over again, and die in the exact same way. Knowing all these terrifying risks, why did humans continue to eat things they didn't know? Because starvation was a much more certain death than poison. Faced with certain annihilation, the mind always chooses to gamble. Over time, after thousands of victims, our ancestors developed their own testing systems against nature's cruel rules. In the most desperate moments of hunger, every tribe needed a sacrifice. Now, imagine the oldest or the hungriest hunter sitting by that frozen campfire so the rest of the tribe could live. Everyone is watching him from a distance, holding their breath. The hunter takes the mushroom in his hand. First, he breaks it and rubs the cold, oozing liquid onto the inside of his wrist, and waits. Not for 5 minutes. He waits, shivering in the dark, for hours. When his skin doesn't blister, he slowly touches the mushroom to his lips. Another silent wait lasting for hours. No burning. Then, he tears off a piece the size of a fingernail and places it on his tongue. He doesn't swallow. He never swallows. He rolls it around in his mouth, searching for the metallic or bitter taste of poison. After spitting it out and washing his mouth, a whole other day passes. Finally, it comes to that last, lethal stage. He swallows a piece the size of a fingernail. That night, that hunter doesn't sleep. Lying on his back in the dark, he listens to every twitch of his body, every rumble in his stomach. A full 24 hours spent wondering, is something melting inside me? Is my blood being poisoned? This test was not a laboratory protocol written on paper. This was the living nightmare experienced by thousands of nameless heroes who went into anaphylactic shock and choked to death just from swallowing that tiny piece. So, is it over? Did nature run out of weapons? No, because nature had one more diabolical trump card up its sleeve: time-delayed biological bombs. Imagine you ate that fleshy, brown roll-rim mushroom you found in the forest. You don't feel nauseous, your lips don't swell, you don't get poisoned, you survive the winter. The next year, you eat it again. You feed it to your family, to your children. None of you are harmed. You boil that mushroom on your hearth for 10 years. But there is something terrifying you don't know, something you could never understand in that dark age. That mushroom is actually poisoning you, slowly. Every time you eat it, the antigens inside the mushroom silently latch onto your liver and your blood. They accumulate in microscopic drops. A literal, invisible dam of poison is being built inside your body. 1 year, 5 years, 10 years. The water level behind the dam constantly rises, but not a single drop leaks on the outside. You feel perfectly healthy until that day. Years later, on an ordinary afternoon, you take just one more bite of that mushroom, and the dam wall cracks with a deafening roar. Your body's tolerance limit has been breached. Your body unleashes a massive, violent autoimmune response. Your immune system suddenly perceives your own blood cells as a deadly enemy and begins to tear them apart. The mushroom you trusted, the one you put on your table and believed nourished you for a decade, drowns you in internal bleeding in just a matter of hours. It was impossible for an ancient human to comprehend this sneaky 10-year buildup. Impossible to connect that sudden death to the innocent-looking mushroom they had eaten with pleasure for years. It was nature's most perfect murder, the ultimate betrayal of food. Now, think about all these colossal processes, these mind-boggling losses, those silent waits in the dark, those simple, ordinary sentences we read in modern books today, like "this plant is poisonous" or "this mushroom is edible." They were not discovered in clean laboratories by examining chemicals under a microscope. Every single letter of those sentences was written with the bodies of people who died bleeding, in agony, vomiting, paralyzed, and writhing on the forest floor. The history of humanity is actually a massive encyclopedia whose pages are made of soil and blood. An ordinary Tuesday evening, you just got off work, the exhaustion of the day resting heavily on your shoulders. You park your car and walk through the giant automatic doors of that high-end supermarket. You walk through the aisles and reach out for those flawlessly packaged mushrooms. But the weight of that little package in your hand is now completely different. Because behind that shiny plastic and the barcode, there isn't just modern agriculture, logistical networks, or safe greenhouses. Right behind that package, just so you can safely eat that dinner with your children at your table today, lies the silent scream of tens of thousands of your ancestors, whose names we will never know, who sacrificed their own lives in those dark forests thousands of years ago.